Hey guys, Team Winning's Bryan again, going on with my streak of decks that I have going. Now I'm going to present you guys Angel Feathers. I don't know if we ever actually got an Angel Feather video up. I will have to check on that in just one second, but this is basically an updated version. I think my old version I was running the ride chain with Cosmo Healer, our Gardle, I think. I don't know. I'm bad with his name. I'm sorry. I've switched it up to where it's just basically focused around Circular Saw now and the drill bullet guy. I'll get to that in a second. So here's your starter. It's Thermometer Angel. Basically, when you ride something else onto her, move her out, and then you can counterblast one and add it to your soul. Excuse me. If you do, look at the top 5 cards of your deck for a grade 3 and add it to your hand. It's really useful to go fetch your grade 3, plus with how this deck works with, I do some minor damage swapping around. I don't focus on it. If you reveal something good, you can always swap it face down, and then you can use, say, No Seal to bounce it back to your hand later and put something face up in there that you don't need. So let's go ahead and get her out of here. Different from my Nova Grappler deck and all my other decks, this goes back to being my 8 crit, 4 draw, 4 heal lineup. The 8 crits that I have here are the Rocket Dash Unicorn, otherwise known as Laser Pony version 0, and Critical Hit Angel, which I find her name hilarious just because it's Critical Hit Angel. Critical Hit Angel has an additional ability of add it to soul, and you can give a unit power plus 3,000. It's good if you're trying to break that, say, 16k threshold. It's really good if you're trying to break the 2021, depending on what Vanguard you're fighting. Adding it to soul in this deck, I do some minor soul blasting too, and I'll get to that in one second. It's mainly for Circular Saw, though. Next is the draw trigger. There's nothing fantastic about this. Bouquet Toss Messenger, just your standard draw trigger. Get her out of here. And then we got Sunny Smile Angel. And I love this heal trigger for the same reason I love the Oracle Think Tank heal trigger. It does the exact same thing. The first ability isn't relevant because we're riding Thermometer Angel, but you can actually use her as a starter if you want. If you ride an Angel Feather, she comes out. And then if you boost with her, the boosted unit gains 3,000 power. At the end of the turn, shuffle it back in. So it's a really good heal trigger, especially if you get mid to late game and you're just trying to get heals back in to survive or just try and help push for game. It's really useful. So let's go ahead and get the triggers out of the way. And we're going to go ahead and go straight into the grade 1s. Now, like with every deck that I play, I have 4 perfect cards, which is, in this case, her name is Pure Keeper Raquel. Play in Guardian Circle, discard an Angel Feather from your hand. Angel Feather being attacked this turn isn't hit for that battle. And then I play 3 Lightning Chargers, which is the Circular Saw specific booster. If it boosts a unit named Circular Saw anywhere, it doesn't matter whether it's a Vanguard or Rearguard, you can Soul Blast 1. If you do, she gets, I think it's either her or Circular Saw. Hold on, let me read. The boosted unit. So Circular Saw would get power plus 5,000. So it's a good way to make a 21k column in case you're fighting against, say, Nova Grappler or the random Juggernaut Maximum and Juggernaut Maximum, Draconic Overlord, and Spectral Duke Dragon plays, as well as mirror matching against Cosmo Healer. Plus the limit break makes it a 26, which a lot of decks have a big problem against 26, and they usually just perfect guard. The next card I run is I run 4,000 Ray Pegasus, otherwise known as Laser Pony version 1. In Vanguard or Rearguard, when a card goes to your damage zone, it gains power plus 2,000 for the turn. I said I did do some minor damage switching. I do it pretty much with Circular Saw and with No CL. Usually I tend to really try and limit it to once per turn, because if you put this with another Laser Pony I'm going to get to in a second, it makes a 20k column, which is really useful. I also play 4 because if you ride her early game, and say they try and go for that early game 8k Swarm, if they Vanguard hit you, or they Rearguard hit you, and it basically they don't get a trigger, a card did go to your damage zone, so it gains +2. So you just kind of thwarted their whole rush with one laser pony. Next, I play 4 Burst Shot Benethil, which is your classic 8K beater. Nothing special here. And let's go ahead and get him out of the way. On the grade 2s, I play 3 Love Machine Gun No Seals. 8K, when she's placed on rear guard, you can basically swap a card in your hand with a card in your damage zone. There's no restriction on what the card in your damage zone has to be, being it face down or face up. So, like I said, if you go back with Thermometer Angel, you counterblast something in and you have something face down that you kind of want back, or even if you just want the face up damage, you can drop a no seal and take a card out of your hand, put it in your damage zone, and then take the card in your damage zone and add it back to your hand. One thing I would like to note, especially on these cards, all of their costs are, you pay them when they come into play. So you actually pay the cost first and then you do targets, which I found kind of interesting. So if you get later in the game and you want to keep cards in your hand and you don't really want anything in your damage zone, but you want to trigger, say, your magical laser pony here, you can always just throw a card into your damage zone and then pick that exact same card back up, and it technically does count because the card did enter the damage zone. So, with that being said, back to what I was talking about. Going into that strategy, we have Million Ray Pegasus, otherwise known as Laser Pony version 2. It's a 9K, does the exact same thing as 1000 Ray Pegasus. Any type of damage that goes, it boosts up. It again can stifle that early game rush. If they're trying to hit you again with just a rush at 10Ks and they don't trigger it, it becomes an 11 on the first damage and kind of just laughs at everything else. It's a good offensive and defensive card. And then the next is I play 4 10K beaters. It's called a Gatling Shot Barbell. Like I said, pretty standard, nothing to see here. Then on to the grade 3s. The grade 3s that I play in here, I play 4 Circular Saw Kiri. She is the one that's your bread and butter of the entire deck, pretty much. You want her on Vanguard. Most of the time, I will actually chain ride her, depending on what's in my damage, also to trigger ponies. I'll get to that combo in a second. Basically, it's your classic limit breaker. If you have 4 more damage, it's power plus 5,000. Really useful, especially if you have a lightning charger behind it, because then as a Vanguard, it's swinging for 26 if you're soul blasting. Really useful. The key ability here is the Counterblast 1. Basically, when you ride it, you can Counterblast 1. If you do, take a card out of your damage zone and you call it to a rearguard circle. Now, note that that's not open rearguard circle, it's any rearguard circle. And then you take the top card from your deck and put it face down in the damage zone. I've had a couple times where I've hit triggers, and I mean, you know, it happens. You can't really play this deck otherwise unless you're playing Argodial, and then you'd still be playing Circular Saw anyways. So in this deck, I just kind of got used to milling my top card randomly. And if it's something useful, you can always use No Seal to get it back if you have to. So not a big deal, and it helps with your pony plays. And then the last thing I play 3 of is I play 3 Drill Bullet. Whoa, what's his name? I'm sorry, I'm very bad with names. Drill Bullet Genial. And it's basically just if you have a Angel Feather Vanguard and you attack a Vanguard, it gets power plus 2,000. So it's another way out of like 3 or 4 ways in this deck currently that I can hit 20, 21K. If I have a pony column going and I have a pony behind him and I've used Circular Saw to call something back, or even if I've called him or the pony, and then the card goes to the damage zone, so then the pony's ability resolves, it's a 21K. Very useful. Even then, by himself, he's a 12K as long as you're swinging at the Vanguard, so it lets you get over the Nova Grappler players or the random maximum Overlord, yada yada, so on and so forth. The main combo you try and do in this deck is, naturally, you have just played the Circular Saw, you've resolved its ability at one point or another. Say you have this, you have, oh, I don't know, let's go ahead and put Drill. Well, we'll say we play Drill Bullet after her ability resolves. So let's get him out of there. And you activate her ability, and you get this Laser Pony out of your damage zone. Now when a card goes, and I'm just going to grab a random card out of one of my 14 some odd decks over here, when this card goes to the damage zone, this is now considered in play. This one's now considered in play, sorry. So they actually both get the power pump of +2/+2. So this turns into a 20k column for the turn. Back here, say if you have the lightning charger or you have the 8k booster, then this is a 20 column. Then to add to the matters, you play drill bullet, or you play drill bullet, and then you play it either with another laser pony or you play it with just your 8k beater right there. It's another 20k column. 20k columns are really useful. My opinion, 20k is more of a magic number than 21. Again, unless you're going against Nova Grappler or some of the other decks that have the 11ks, usually you're looking to push 15, 20. This deck is more than capable of pushing the 21 if you have the right setup, hence why you play Laser Pony. Other than that, that's pretty much this deck. As before, comment, like, subscribe, ask for videos, ask questions. Heck, if you want to play me on Cardfight Capital, you can send me a message with your name, and if I have time after class, we can play a couple times. You want a mirror match or anything? I'm up for anything. So, other than that, this is Brian from Team Winning Out, and I will have another deck up in just a moment.